Greetings and salutations and welcome once again to the Capeless Crusaders live at the time from the safe house.
Yep.
You're safe.
Yeah, you're fine. I'm just like, hey.
My name is David Barry at Dr. Barry on varying social media platforms. Hey, this is going to take a while. We're going to start to my right. We have sporting the BP.
Wakanda forever. This is the Azorian one. Anthony is Steve's.
Well, I wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready.
Okay, cut. Take two. Say it again.
Wakanda forever.
Hey, you almost missed it.
That's a clip. Somebody
Hey,
that.
how about back there? It's up there and all the way from sunny Los Angeles, California, where it is not snowing.
It's sunny today.
It was like a little windy.
Oh, a little windy.
The wind blew me over here.
It did this.
We have
the tall not ugly on everything. This Tom live finally.
we went to say tall, not ugly,
Tall,
dark.
not ugly. The golden brown.
Tommy Dark, not easy. I don't know.
Existential ugly Romeo.
Ugly Romeo. That's it. That's me.
Our LA correspondent.
Yes.
We also have
Takanawa.
another less than familiar face in the safe house. We have our Junior Bacon Crusader Cheeseburger.
Mac.
Hi. I'm Manderson. This Manderson on only one of the things, the Twitter.
I'm one of the things.
I got my mug. It's a Hawaiian mug.
Yeah, hey, mug love. Right here. Mug love, bro.
Because it's snowing here.
If those had shattered.
It would have been really fun for people
This
watching.
mug reminds me of Mr. Barry.
Why?
Because it's from Hawaii.
And Maui.
You're welcome.
They took it there. We're a minute in. They took it there already.
I left it alone. I just said
I
you're
was going
welcome.
to say that this won't shatter.
Usually
Come
you
on.
just say you're welcome.
Stop recording.
It won't.
Stop streaming.
This won't shatter. Look at this. Come on.
Anyway.
Do these
It won't
colors
show
not
all the
bleed?
other Iron Man armor.
And lastly,
but not least.
Certainly not leastly.
my left. I don't know. Who are you?
None of this. Hi guys over there. I'm Amy. You can find me at IJNURobot on varying social media, and coming this weekend, Emerald City Comic-Con.
Oh,
I was doing the hashtag.
so
That's it.
jealous.
The hash clap.
There's gonna.
Is that a thing?
And if ever you need more Tom, because you just can't get enough of his Per the Mug, where might we find you during a week?
What can we find during the week, Tom?
Watching Netflix.
On
In the podcast world.
The
podcast
nerd
world.
on the podcast.
Nerd on the podcast.
Nerd on the podcast.
Nerd on the
podcast.
That's how it's
The podcast.
I like to me up every once in a while.
I like that.
As always, if you are looking for anything related to the Capeless Crusaders, you can find it at thecapelesscrusaders.com. That is your number one source
It's
for
above my
everything
bun.
Crusader related. If you're
It's
watching
like
this
the
live or on
Manderson.
YouTube, we have it there. If not, you just go to thecapelesscrusaders.com. You can find our blogs, all of our social medias, all of our
Media,
and our mediums.
Media's now?
Mediums?
We can say whatever we want if you really want to.
According to Corthaniel the Brave, Tom is mean to everybody. It's how he shows love.
Speaking of which, good evening to the chat room. Anyone in the chat room? If you are watching this live on Twitch, or if you're watching this on YouTube, then you can
comment.
it's like a time capsule, but for a conversation.
Oh.
And if you're listening to this on any podcast app, then you have no idea what gestures I'm making with my hands.
Nope, but
They're
they
really
can hear
cute.
it though.
But you
really
can-
close.
It's the look of one hand clapping.
The look of one hand clapping. Yes.
That's what it is.
My beads, Steve's beads.
It's Steve's beads. As always, yes, twitch.tv/The Crusaders. You can find all of our streams, including our newest show, which is Sunday Coffee with Taz1, the Azorian one.
How's it going?
Emilio Estevez.
Emilio!
Yay.
Where he'll be talking shop, some news stories, while also simultaneously making breakfast for his boys. Bingo, bango.
Was his name out?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Because the Capeless Crusaders are brought to you in part by Computer Booter.
Yes.
Your local retro video game shop, computer and mobile device repair shop, and video game lounge. They have, I believe it's Friday Night Smash. You can oftentimes find
I smash all the time.
our boy Curtis.
He came to get down and get
at
on his
Calm Down Morning at Existential Romeo smashing there on Friday nights.
Romeo.
Romeo.
I always had the lip plates. I could be like, who are you?
Romeo.
By the way, if you're listening and you are interested in getting your name up here at the front, getting your advertisement on, we are always available for sponsorship opportunities. Check us out on thekpostcrusaders.com. I'm going to say some good evenings to... We got Kevin up in the chat. We've got Drew in the TARDIS in the chat.
And Corey.
Hey, Corey.
We got Corey.
Hi, Corey.
We got Gimmadin. We got all kinds of people in here.
Welcome to the show.
That's Gimmadin. That's from your D&D campaign.
him.
Hey!
Everybody kind of knows people in the chat. This is awesome.
This is fantastic. Everyone make friends. Everyone be cool. Unless, again, you're listening to this on podcast
No
app.
biting unless you like it.
Then you better get on here live.
Nibble first.
Because
Ask
it's
for
so
consent.
much more
Tongue always.
fun. Oh, and Miles is
There's
in
Miles.
the chat
There he
as
is.
well.
Right there.
So, on this week's episode, we got a couple things we're going to be talking about.
A couple?
We got a lot of topics. This might actually go a little long. We're going to go around the horn as always. We're going to talk about some...
We blast your name across the chat.
We're going to be talking about some comics we've been reading. We're also going to be going over some news, just a couple news stories. The news monkey is not in attendance because we already have too many people.
I am the monkey.
You don't want to be the
This
monkey.
whole time.
We sent him to rehab. And he said no.
Look at me. I am the monkey.
Mechanical Lynn, drop a follow because we are going to be playing D&D in this
Crusader
channel,
D&D.
Crusader D&D with DM Manderson.
Big double D's here.
I was going to make a joke about
We
myself.
are... Hey, there's that follow.
Thank you.
It's sexy.
We are going to be talking about Image Expo a little
Hey,
bit, and then our
Tina.
main topic, which, I mean...
What is it? I have no idea what it is.
We are going to be talking
What are we
about
talking about?
Maje.
Black Panther. Jesus. Amy.
I got excited!
Sorry, headphone.
Sorry.
If you're a
It's
headphone,
okay, man.
you're a headphone user. I apologize.
Good thing I wore
So
this shirt.
yeah, it's like it was meant to be.
Huh.
It's like it's got vibranium woven into it.
It is.
Exactly.
It is.
Somebody
So-
cheer.
But it doesn't need it.
Oh
Yeah, let's test it. Let's test it.
Dear.
So
no.
when we're
Let's
in
need a good handful.
the safe house,
Uh-oh.
when we've got a full crew,
As you can see.
we like to do something
That's crew with the
that I call going round the horn.
Around the horn and go like an ice cream truck.
Because
He's
Tom,
trying to combat us.
Hey, Luke, is that Daisy out there, Luke?
so Tom, we have to realize is
He got sick of us yelling in his ears.
I found a copyright-free sound website, everyone.
Oh.
So every time there is a sound opportunity,
A sound
Insert
opportunity.
90s PSA soundtrack.
Exactly.
The more you know.
Gruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois. Anyway, when we go around the horn, we go around the table in a circular fashion, except for the
Or we
fact
go on
that
the
we
Bleacher
do
style today.
not exactly. We go back to back.
Bleacher
We do not have a round table. We have not had a round table in years.
Exactly.
I am getting over a case of vertigo, and the more I move, the more I feel like I'm
Stop
going to
doing
fall
it.
Gonna
over.
vomit
I will
on
get
me.
you more
You're
drugs
gonna
if you
vomit.
need.
No,
but
I'm
I
good.
have to
I'm
go
just
to
going to fall over. We go around the horn, we go around the table in a circular fashion, and we talk about what comic books we have been reading this week. Manderson,
Yeah. Oh, wait. What?
because
first
you
days.
are the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger.
Whopper.
So
This is the
delicious.
one benefit I get. Is
I
get
love
to
the
go
rodeo
first.
cheeseburger though. To be honest.
Because you get to go first, but if you haven't read anything and you're trying to come up with something,
We
you
will
get,
know.
you get mocked
We
because you
will
go
find
first.
Oh, okay.
Go
Well,
with
it's,
that key.
it's a good thing I read some things.
Oh.
What did you read, Manderson?
So I'm gonna start with. I've been reading the Milk Wars. The
Nice. Doom Patrol.
yeah.
Justice League.
Oh yeah, all that stuff. And this past week was the one I was looking forward to the most. Cave Carson and Swamp Thing crossover.
That's this guy.
I've been like every week, like, where's this thing? I
That's
want
okay.
it. It came. Everybody's
There's
excited.
a lot of gyrating for
And-
everyone
You
listening.
went Batista
So
there for a
just,
second.
just to break it down,
Sorry.
DC's Young Animal and the main DC universe have been doing some crossover stuff called the Milk Wars, where this evil organization called Retcon is trying to take over our world. In this specific issue,
Is this like low-fat milk? Is this whole milk?
This
Is
is
this
whole milk,
it's
baby.
whole milk.
Like, is,
So-
is that good?
It's that good.
In this specific issue, we finally encounter the Swamp Thing, which has been mentioned in all the other issues. And like my favorite part of this issue is Cave Carson, who has been like brainwashed by drinking milk, hence the Milk Wars. Like starts
I hate it when
just
that
chowing
happens.
down on vegetables, and then he just pukes up like streams
So
of foliage,
amazing.
and the Swamp Thing just kind of like comes out of him.
That's dope.
And it's kind of like gross, but also really awesome at the same time. And then you see the Swamp Thing's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
That's how he
And
does.
he just kind of like shows up. It's like
He's just I saw it.
it's like
Hey, bro.
I saw it.
the world is trying to
saw
be
it.
taken over. It's like, "Hey, old friend, what's up?" And let's get out of here. It's all chill and stuff.
He makes
So
me so
it was.
happy.
You should check it out. It's really fun. It's really weird,
It's the best
which
part
is
about
fine. Yeah, it's great. It's
so good.
It's phenomenal.
So good.
The other thing that I read, I'm a big fan. I fell in love with the movie Big Hero 6 a couple years ago.
Aww.
My
Good
son
movie.
and I used to watch it
Good
like
movie.
3 times a day. So I decided I'm gonna hunt down the Big Hero 6 comic.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't find the original, but I found the
Is it
one.
a comic or is it a graphic novel or is it like a?
It's at least the one that I picked up was
A novella.
a comic. There were 5 issues, and it's very different. It's not Disney friendly, but it's
Aw.
like Baymax and Hero are they're
Dead.
part of like no, they're not dead.
Okay.
They're part of like a spy organization
Post-apocalyptic.
that
Snyder.
comes from Japan, and in this story they actually come to the U.S. and like, why are we going to take care of an issue in the U.S.? They have the Avengers and Captain America take care of it. Like, no, they can't do it. Big Hero 6 has.
We
to
need
do
Asian
it.
men to do this.
Yeah.
Yay!
And
Wait.
it's interesting. It's pretty good. It's
Is
pretty
it
good.
is it still written? Is it still produced by Man of Action Entertainment?
No. This one was under the Marvel banner.
Got it.
I
Okay.
couldn't find the first one. I'm still trying to hunt it down.
Okay.
So that's what I
I do love that Stan Lee cameo. in
You
Big
read
Hero 6.
you read a fantastic range, if I do say
I
so.
try.
Respect that.
Real fast. Yes, rodeo cheeseburgers are really good.
Mhm.
Yes, Gimminan, we can mock him. Yes, the Swamp Thing NES game was great. And Lynn, no, it is never too late. Just like IJN Robot, which is Amy, said, we can find you something.
And I got something to start you out with.
Jesus, never too late to start.
And Drew's been working on it too. I mean,
I'm
he
trying
picked
to
up
talk to
Flash from me a
Lynn
little
from
bit.
where they live.
Gotcha.
We got you. We got you. But Tom,
Wakanda forever.
Before we get to Gimminan, to be fair, they're going to pay for the mocking later.
Hey, I've been
Oh,
good.
no.
Don't swamp me.
I
with
feel
this.
our Wakanda is becoming like the Zoltan in Dude Where's My Car. That's Zoltan.
Tom, what have you been reading this week?
So I'm doing that thing where I'm just rereading old stuff because I'm preparing my
Your
new
body?
show with some content that we've already talked about on the
So
show.
So
What
you
show is this
sniping?
again? What show is this again?
This is the Nerd on the podcast.
Oh.
Are you rehashing?
A little bit.
So in other words, you just told your nerd on folk that you were not doing proper research and you just dug it into the.
One's watching. At least
TV.
one is watching.
No,
At
I
least
have
one. Is watching.
I've read it.
Oh, I know,
And
but
I made them.
but you're just going, hey, this
Wait,
is my.
but did we read it as a
Yeah.
reading assignment?
Possibly a long time ago. Long time ago. Like
Oh,
back in the day. Like
now-
this
now
is
I
like
wanna know.
classic before the reboot and then before the
Is
the
that
The
copyright?
reboot?
the
Re-
reboot.
I
Before
think I know what it
showed
is.
up
Before
this-
the Ironheart reboot.
I think I know what it is. What is it?
Flashpoint.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
Because I said reboot.
Yeah.
So yeah, Flashpoint. For all those who haven't read or picked up a comic, I think this is a really cool one to start with. It gives you a little bit of good understanding of like the DC universe of who the players are, people who are like the villains of the Flash. What the story is pretty much is the Flash wakes up in an alternate reality and he doesn't know what's happening. He's trying to figure out what's going on and why like certain people aren't where they are. Like Superman's not existed, Batman's not Bruce Wayne, things like that. And if you think about it, it's kind of like a cool way to think of, like to learn more about the universe because you know what's not the universe.
Right.
It's a really good story and it has a really cool, fun twist if you haven't seen the animated film. The animated film takes bits of it, but there's a lot of exposition in the beginning. But this trade paperback is pretty gory and graphic and it's pretty dope. You can see Batman kill some people, which is always a
Yeah.
great thing.
Because it's his dad.
It's Thomas Wayne. It's
Oh,
Negan.
spoiler
It's
alert.
Negan.
It's Negan. Yeah, it is Negan.
One of my
Negan.
favorites.
Pick it up. It's cool. Trade. I like it.
I'm proud of you.
You read some stuff
You've
since
grown. You've grown so much.
I
Hey,
have.
Amelia.
Hi.
We're not even Emilio, but it's Amelia. Good job. I like that. That was
What have
good.
you been reading this week?
Lots of stuff. So, firstly,
All right,
because
go,
I
go,
was
go.
sick for the last week,
Ooh.
I had forgotten to return Oblivion Song, which is Robert Kirkman's new
I
book
need
that I
to
was
read-
supposed. It's
not
at
out
the
yet.
shop. It's at the
It's not
shop.
out
The first 4 issues are at the shop. I finished it. good. It's very, very Kirkman-y, but it left on a cliffhanger, so I have to wait till June to finally see it. You guys, it comes out on March if you're interested in the first issue. I also got caught up on my I Hate Fairyland, because if I say the other word, people will get yelled at me. So it's F Fairyland, Scotty Young. We have finished our first official arc, and needless to say, our brave heroine, Gertie, is trapped in hell. Oh. Tune in for that one. Oh boy! And then next up, and then lastly,
this is weird with over
because,
3 people.
I know. So lastly for me, because of course I can't, and I'm really excited. Saga number 48.
Oh, I just
so good.
Oh, I just bought it,
dude. So good.
49
comes out this Wednesday.
I know it. No,
49 comes out on Wednesday,
out.
but so 48 just came out. So good, sweet little story. I got me some goose. I got me some Friendo. Y'all need to read the book.
Friendo.
Yeah.
Oh, Friendo.
So.
Friendo.
Friendo. But
it's like comprende.
No, Friendo is a giant walrus that is taken care of by a small white seal with a giant
an anthropomorphic seal.
With a yellow, what is it? The yellow rain slicker and the boots.
Yeah.
And Friendo was a girl.
Yeah.
Take that, imagination.
Hey.
Yeah, take that. People trying to turn it into a movie. Hey, Stevs.
That's me.
What have you been reading this week?
Well, I went into a certain app called Marvel Unlimited.
Oh.
And I'm preparing for something. Preparing for something that's coming up. So I chose Jonathan Hickman's Infinity.
Ooh.
I
Because
just
we all
started.
know something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you guys know. That's all
I am 33 pages into the first issue, and I'm hooked. It's building up still. I want to see what Marvel says. Read the event that inspires the on-screen action in Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
Oh
yeah. I know.
Why does it look like you're smelling your fingers?
Because Jonathan Hickman is just...
Because he touched that iPad and wants to smell
He
the
just
fingers.
delicious.
Jonathan Hickman.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Get it all up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Last Monday Murders.
He is Shakespeare.
Dude.
He is Beethoven and Mozart and the Beatles and the Stones.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that was really mad at Mozart.
And Lin-Manuel Miranda.
And Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Ooh.
And Lady Gaga.
Boom.
All just
all the pullage.
rolled
He's
up.
born this way.
And,
Wow.
Wow.
Comment and question. Number one, this also follows something I've enjoyed in Marvel Comics is when it gives you the credits.
Mm-hmm.
Here is this team. Here is this team. Here's that team. I enjoy it. My question there.
Yeah.
You like the way they did in Suicide Squad?
Yes, thank you. The Illuminati,
Mm-hmm.
it shows Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Then down here in Avengers,
Mhm.
it also shows Iron Man, different helmet.
Mhm.
Is this somebody else? Or is it the same Tony Stark? Is it Tony Stark in both?
Shall we
I'm
just
going to
leave-
find out.
shall we leave it
Okay,
alone?
just curious. I was going to find out. Never mind. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're just gonna leave
That's a
that
really good
alone.
storyline for you to finish.
All right, cool.
Lastly, I'm gonna wrap us up. I read 2 things. Of course, they were both
DC.
They were both DC, which is
Wait, was
You've
one?
grown so much, young son.
I'm reading the Marvel. He's reading the DC.
It used to be weird that I
I'm
read
reading
DC.
the everything.
The other way around.
It's not weird
Look, and
anymore.
I'm reading the Image. Yay!
So-
We covered bases.
I read, first off, I caught up, not to the point of the Milk Wars, but I caught up in Doom Patrol up until Milk Wars. Doom Patrol is written by Gerard Way, so if you're a fan of My Chemical Romance, you're going to enjoy it. The Young Animals
Umbrella
imprint is all him. Umbrella Academy, also him.
They making a show?
They're making it on Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Netflix is owning everything.
Yeah. So Doom Patrol
It is everything on everything.
basically picks up today where Grant Morrison left off in the 90s. It is fantastic. It's super weird. It's lots of fun, though. The other thing I read, which is very near and dear to my heart, the Swamp Thing Winter Special.
Oh, so good.
Yes.
I'm
So,
a Patrick Soldier. I'm like, what?
for those
Bucky
of you
went there too?
don't know, Swamp
It is
Thing,
thick.
he's probably my favorite.
Probably.
Probably.
I bought you 2 pops.
Do they
One
know
that
about
smells
those
like
things?
pot.
Do they know about those puppies?
All my pops.
I mean,
I
straight
bought
up.
No,
him
when I-
officially 2, you guys.
When
2
I
pops.
played the Swamp Thing Nintendo
You made the
game, I
towers.
had the towers of Swamp Thing pops with me.
Nice.
So
Did you open up the
They
one
know.
that smells like pot
yeah,
and
I
sticks?
almost died.
Okay, it doesn't smell bad.
No, but
But-
I bought, so I got him the flocked and then the one that smells.
For y'all who don't know what flocked means,
Flocked
I
means
didn't know what
covered
that-
in fuzzy
I
fuzzies.
didn't know what it meant. I don't know.
yeah, it's
We learned
fuzzy.
this
It's
together.
a fuzzy pop.
Yeah.
It's like cuddly.
You flunked the flock.
So
Fuzzy flock.
the Swamp
You fuck-
Thing Winter Special
You
was a
fucked the book.
one-off book. It had 2 stories in it. The first of which was written by none other than DC's Golden Boy, Tom King. And it was drawn by Jason, I'd say Fabok? Fabok, I'm not exactly sure how to...
Flock.
Yeah.
It's silent.
It's Waka Flocka. Goes hard in the paint. So that is a one-off story that was...
Lovely.
It was so well done, so beautifully drawn. It follows Swamp Thing who's trying to protect this little boy in the frozen wastes, and he can no longer connect to the green. And he's basically trying to save this boy from a snow monster, but it goes a lot deeper than that. The other story, which is what's so it's what's so special about this book.
How special is it?
So special because the original creators of Swamp Thing, Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson, both passed away in the last year. Those were huge losses. Len Wein, however, was in the process of coming back to DC to start writing Swamp Thing again, which was his creation. And he had written a couple of stories. They took the first story that he had written, they published it in its script form, and they also published the art without any text that was done by Kelly Jones. I believe Kelly Jones, who's actually a Sacramento native, who drew a lot of... He gave Batman the really tall horns in the 90s, like the demon.
We love those.
I actually really do them. Yeah.
The demon.
So you got to see this story that Len Wein was going to be bringing back to DC, and it was really cool to read the script because in the script you get to read his notes. And probably the saddest thing is at the very end where he says like, "I'll see you next month," because he was so excited to keep going with this because Swamp Thing was his baby. So yeah, it was really nice to see both like a modern take on Swamp Thing and also see the classic creator kind of come back to it. And now that I've brought us down,
would it be cool if they did a Swamp Thing Netflix series?
I'd be down with that.
That would be a proper...
That could work.
The proper way.
I'd be down
with a little update before we move on. Corthaniel the Brave does say that I used to be solely Marvel till Tom tainted me for the better, obviously.
That's all Tom does is taint
people.
Taints me all the time.
I learned from the Violator.
Swamp Thing on everything. You know, textbooks are important, Kev. I promise.
So while we're
staying in school,
that's our PSA, like Cap and Spider-Man: Homecoming.
So PSA about staying in school, we might.
So Round the Horn is of course brought to you in part
by
Empire's Comics Vault.
What?
Look at their logo right there.
Located
that is our
at 1120 Fulton Avenue, Sweet K.
They are our home. Our home away from home. You can.
I work there.
Go tell Ben that you saw us, and take a look. Get some comics.
Take a look, guys.
It's in a book. It might be a reading rainbow.
Hit
the button.
In other news.
I'm gonna get kicked off.
It's time for the news.
Sounds.
Massive snow and hail here in Sacramento.
Snow in Sacramento.
We're not doing that news.
Which happens every 10 years.
Which is throwing us off, and not just hail. It's snow.
It's a mix. We got a mix going. Yeah.
It's kind of bizarre.
Check out my Instagram. Check out my story.
It's true. News this week. A scary,
super
scary piece of news from this morning. Last night around 2:33 a.m. I awoke to feed my child.
Such a good father.
Yeah, so I went to go heat up her bottle, and while I'm there, I of course blurry-eyed open Instagram and just start flipping through.
And we see the trademark,
and I see the trademark close-up face of a one Kevin Smith.
Oh.
I think I wanna know ya. However, he is not in a hockey jersey. No. He is not smoking a joint.
No.
He is in a hospital gown.
He's tubed up
with tubes and everything. Because last night Kevin Smith suffered a massive heart attack, near fatal, and was saved by the good people of some hospital in Glendale. I don't know which one.
We are very thankful because I still have not met this man, and I've been crushing on him since I was 13. So hurry it up, like.
So Kevin Smith, doing okay now. He's recovering now, but it's kind of scary. And it was
Kinda
actually
scary.
yeah, a
Super-
little
let's be
bit
honest.
scary.
It's scary
Well, it's
enough.
crazy because you didn't hear like Kevin Smith was rushed to the hospital or anything. You just saw a picture of him.
Yeah.
And he's
in the
like, hey,
hospital.
you guys.
Because he broke
Like,
it before
whoa.
anybody. Because he broke it before anybody.
Yeah.
TMZ wasn't there.
It's just the Glendale Hospital is what he's
Yeah.
referring to.
And in his message, he talked about his fear of death and how he kind of felt okay just because he had a lot of opportunities, got to do a lot of really cool things in his life.
No,
Yeah, but then
we're not ready.
No, we're not
We're
ready.
not
His family's
ready.
not ready, and he is still
Harley,
with us.
Harley
Yeah, it
was
was
mad.
Still with us.
It is the lad artery, also known as the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
It was a big one.
Whoa! That's
Yeah.
a nice name to say.
That's what they call it.
Death.
Yeah. So our boy Kevin Smith
It's so
He's
still
adorable.
alive.
He's so freaking adorable.
because we still need to talk to him about becoming the West Coast comic book man.
Yes.
Well, I already said
I'll
I
be-
seduced Ming Chen. So
I won't be Ming. I'll be Cheng.
Yeah, we did we
Ching- I'll be
do
Ching
we
Man.
want to say? Use
I'll be
that as
Ching
my
Man.
segue?
we played
Some
ping
beer
pong. Beer pong with Ming Chen, and he was very enamored with Amelia's tracts of land.
Huge tracts.
Tracts of land.
Huge
Yeah.
tracts of land.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was almost a Widowmaker play of the game. Thank you, Lynn. But it wasn't no headshot for Kevin Smith. In other news, I'm gonna skip around. Speaking of Ming Chen and beer pong, we got our press passes for Silicon Valley Comic Con. So April, we're 6th, 7th, and 8th. We're gonna be. Some of us are gonna be there on the 6th through the 8th. Some of us are gonna be there 7th on the through the 8th. We're gonna have a hotel right across from the
No, I'm not staying in their room.
convention
Don't get it twisted.
center. We're all married men with children, and apparently that's
the
a
corner does not.
yeah. Well, yeah. Tom,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Tom is yeah. Tom's
Wow.
Yeah.
We're single
You're
here.
naughty.
God,
You're a
apparently-
naughty man.
Apparently, you have
But if
no.
you want to be married,
no
so you
control.
yeah.
Anyway,
I'm taking applications tonight.
Yeah.
hey, Thomas, thanks for the follow.
Thanks, Thomas.
So we're gonna be at Silicon Valley Comic Con. Another
Chance for us to be
with Jeff Goldblum,
Stan Lee.
and I
Jeff
was gonna
Goldblum?
go.
Life,
Jeff Goldblum's gonna be there.
life finds a way.
And
Finds a way.
and Stan the Man Lee if he doesn't cancel because he's been canceling a lot of cons recently. The man is 90 something, 5,
596.
almost 6,
He's
and
402.
all he does is give of himself.
Excelsior.
Yeah, exactly. That was a terrible impersonation.
Why was that very
It was the
18?
Age of Ultron one where he's like drunk.
It's not him.
Sure.
It's not the other ones,
So
including his Princess Diaries
Chef
ones.
Goldblum, yeah.
That's the question.
Chef Goldblum.
yes,
Yes.
Manderson.
If Stanley's there and we meet him, first time you meet him, do you have to kiss his ring?
Yes.
If you gently
Gladly.
caress his cardigan, he might get a little freaked out.
Wait, no.
Just from personal
People
experience.
kissing his ring is probably why he keeps canceling cons.
Oh,
His appearances because people keep slobbering
Not
all
gonna do it.
Oh.
not gonna do it then.
Yeah, no, but I mean, he doesn't. Yeah, they don't really let people touch him because his immune system is crap.
But he's so sweet and he's so.
He is.
little,
He's really nice. I have a
and
picture
his
with him up
cardigans are
there.
so
You
clean.
think you'd have a Mark 3 or 4 by now?
Yeah,
Just
you'd
walk
think so.
around.
So, in other
Oh,
news,
no.
the last news for the evening.
Currently,
This is a-
which I'm not gonna lie, I'm okay with this.
I'm totally okay with this.
Hmm.
Joss Whedon
Ooh.
no longer writing or directing Batgirl.
Man.
Girl.
Check
Batman
yourself.
girl.
Batman Girl.
Batman girl.
Batman girl.
Batman
So
girl.
Joss Whedon no longer tied to the project.
And the thing with Snyder
What was the thing with Snyder?
the post of it, Zack Snyder likes it.
Oh.
He liked it. Which I was like,
Ouch.
we won't get into it. But
So Joss Whedon no longer doing Batgirl. So there have been multiple people who come forward offering to write stories for it, including Gail Simone.
Tom Penborsuth.
who I had the opportunity of reading a preview for Domino number 1.
Also Roxanne Gay, who wrote
Yes.
World of Wakanda, who when she tweeted about it, an actual executive from Warner Brothers retweeted her and said, "Hey, if you're serious, email me."
Oh yeah, they saw World of Wakanda. Get her now.
Yeah,
Call
yeah.
her now.
So it's gonna go pretty well.
also, hold on, let me tweet that person.
Yeah, dude, go for it.
Hold on.
Yeah, they put their email on blast on Twitter, so you can reach out too. So
That's
I'm
that
not-
finger snap thing for all those playing the podcast game.
so we don't know what Joss Whedon has planned.
We don't know.
he's going
we don't
back.
Know. You've got a question
No,
in chat.
he's going back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
How about he go back to
Musical?
Firefly?
No, he's going back to.
They already took the sky from us, Tom.
He's going back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the comic book.
Okay.
Oh.
It's like it's coming back?
Yeah, no, the show is not coming back. No, he's so.
Squiggles is in the house.
He doesn't need to spend all the money to make a show. He can just write a
How
comic
about
and make
this?
money.
Dr. Horrible
Yes.
makes a machine that combines Buffy and Firefly.
Oh, Neil Patrick Harris.
I'd be just fine with that.
That'd be kind of dope. And then Nathan Fillion has to play 2 roles.
Doogie.
Serious Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show question.
Okay.
Spike loves her at the end.
We're not Ben,
They love each
so
other.
if you want a good, solid
That your
Buffy
knee?
person, you talk to Ben.
Yes.
So
He's
the
I
episode,
watched the entire series.
the episode I remember is where she kills Angel, where she has to kill him and he goes and then he disappears.
She stabbed
How does
him.
he get his own show?
No, it's because after he comes back, because she puts the ring down and she like says that she loves him. He comes back, but then they like he doesn't have his memories.
Legit?
Yeah, legit. And then like after the whole Adam season, Angel's there, but then he just leaves. He just goes to New York.
Okay, cool.
And
That's
then
how
him,
we
and
got
then
his own show.
I had no idea.
Charisma Carpenter's character goes too.
Don't tell Ben from Empire's Comics Vault, but I have only watched 3 episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in my life.
Season 2 is great, and
Yeah.
then 3 and 4. I mean, it's just
Did
like
you
So
just
tweet
have a
Ben
big
the
zero
second-
in the back?
I've
Man,
never seen an episode.
Uh-oh.
uncultured
That's the one
swine.
episode I saw.
I believe my wife actually was really into that show at some point, and she keeps telling me we're gonna watch it together. We haven't done it yet.
That's good.
Give it
She
in. I hear
sounds
really
Have
good
you
things
seen the
about
entire
it.
series? It's-
Not the entire series.
Oh,
No.
okay.
I just remember
I-
that. I watched Angel. I didn't watch any Buffy, but I watched Angel because
The
it came
corner
on.
is crying.
It came
They
on.
did, so I watched
with-
all the Defenders, but none of the original
It
ones
came-
before.
That's fine. Don't watch Iron Fist. It came because it came on around the same time as Star Trek Voyager on UPN.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh.
UPN, yes.
so that's why I would watch Angel and then
Voyager.
Remember
and then Star
Mondays.
Trek Voyager.
Remember?
Star Trek.
Remember?
So yeah, so
Thanks, Squiggles.
I don't know how much I really care that Joss Whedon's no longer involved with it. I'm also one of the people though that that whole thing broke about him cheating on his wife and the
I was just mad with the dialogue he had for Wonder Woman.
the manipulation and everything. But
not cool with
to
that.
be 100% honest, I'm one of those people that that doesn't change the fact that he was a good writer.
Yeah,
Stuff.
a lot of talented people are very terrible people.
Yeah, and I'm not saying
Sad.
like we should forgive them.
And that's why we like
Except
a lot
for
of
us.
cool
Except
people.
for us.
Yeah,
We're
except for us.
talented except
and if
for
they
us.
commit crimes, obviously they should be booted or arrested or
Correct.
done.
I haven't. Okay.
But I mean, if you cheat on your significant other and you guys break up and there's that's
That's a personal thing you deal with.
Yeah.
All that.
just like I didn't
You
care
do you,
that.
boo-boo,
just like I
do
didn't
You
care.
get a cell phone thrown in your face, whatever.
Yeah. If Bill Clinton got a if JFK got a I don't care. Anyway,
What they do?
Stuff. And
so
thanks.
the other weekend
Hashtag not political.
up in Portland, Oregon, there was a nice little thing called Image Expo, which
we're still mad that you moved it out of San
yeah,
Francisco.
used to be in
Image.
the Bay
You
Area.
jerks. And
Used to be
then
right
last
down
year
in
you
Berkeley.
had it, what, like two days before Emerald City, but nobody knew, so the people that have flown in for Emerald City missed it,
Ooh.
and you made some
The
stuff
anger
up,
eyes.
and
Look
I'm
at the-
really not
Look
happy.
at the anger
Anyway,
in the
sorry.
eyes right there. You see that? Got uncomfortable. She
I
was
did not know
upset.
that was going to happen.
She was upset.
I
I
didn't
think
see
she
that
blacked
coming.
out.
Sorry.
Um,
What?
She
What?
blacked out.
I guess what?
So
What's up?
anyway, at Image Expo, basically Image lays out a bunch of the
Image.
titles that they're going to be coming out with in the next
I'm a
year. Not necessarily all the titles. It could be another project in the works. But we saw close to 30 titles that we're all, of course, going to have to read because, of course, all going to be amazing. So did anyone check out the coverage for Image Expo? Anyone see any
No.
titles that was interesting to them? Manderson, you
Oh!
and I are the only ones who did the homework.
Oh!
I mean,
Well,
I
I think we
looked at all
established
the-
this that Tom doesn't get like the menu order before the meal.
I was doing
I
the
usually
I
do,
believe-
but also no
Our courier
coverage.
pages
Hey.
just can't make it that far.
I believe
Send a raven.
I
Send a
believe
raven.
there. I can screenshot the group text where I said, "Hey, this week we're talking about Black Panther and Image Expo."
I heard about Black Panther. That's all I saw.
He's-
These eyes have selective vision.
Selective vision?
Selective vision.
Anyway,
But that's none of Steve's business.
so a couple big points to take away from Image Expo. First off, for those of you who have read Bingo Love, I am jealous because I have not gotten my copy yet. Bingo Love is a
Still
book
not in.
by Misty Franklin. No, he could have ordered it.
He did. I checked it in today.
He said he ordered it because I brought it up the
Yes,
other day.
I
Yeah,
know.
no, because he didn't order it before because he had no idea. Anyway,
So
Misty
Misty Franklin.
is writing this awesome book called Bingo Love, which
How
is
about
about
Franklin?
two women who
Oh.
discover love later in life, and it's about all the healing powers of love. and it happens also happen in a bingo hall. And yeah, it sounds odd, but it's I really appreciate
for a comic.
It's really well done. Yeah. But she has a new book coming out called Juke Joint, which goes the completely opposite direction.
It's jazz and sex, you guys, and I'm in.
Or is that like juke music? Which is like,
I want that to be their ad for the comic. Just that clip of her.
jazz and sex.
And I'm in.
I'm in it. I'm in there like somewhere.
Wait. I just want to point out that because your daughters and husband are not in the chat room, that's your jazz and sex.
And I'm in.
It literally says, I'm reading
it's a horror. It's a horror story.
Run.
That was a horror story.
Tells the tale of jazz, the jazz club / brothel.
The Jazz Age. Yeah, and it's horror.
I mean, to tell you, that sold me.
But it's benefiting Joyful Heart, a nonprofit founded.
Exactly. Missy Franklin is dope. You should check her out. You should follow her on the Twitter. Manderson, was there anything you saw that you were excited for?
I wrote down a couple things that looked interesting. The first one, where is the furthest place from here?
Okay.
Probably. I'm gonna say Australia.
I want to hear this one. Shush. Let the Manderson talk.
What's in the question?
Sorry, it's the title. I apologize. I'll quit by next time.
Sorry.
But like the shot of the artwork they gave was not something that I would normally be like, oh, that looks really interesting, pick it up. So I'm kind of excited for when it comes out to grab something that's not normally my style. But it's basically a story of a group of people who are stuck in outer space and are trying to find their way back to Earth. And I'm a big sci-fi nerd. Anything in space.
So Cloverfield Paradox.
I'm in. I didn't see it, so sure. So that was the first thing, and then
that one Netflix show, Lost in Space.
Oh,
yeah.
Danger.
Just destroying the screen. He was like, "Tom, get out." That's the reason why you left.
And then Shanghai Red was another one that caught my eye because it's a period piece, takes place in the early 19th century, 20th century. And so it goes era. From it's the little summary that it gives. So it goes all the way from Shanghai to San Francisco or like somewhere. Yeah, so it's all over the place.
Something Western,
something over here. Yeah,
something white.
It looks
something colonized.
The artwork looks really good. It's kind of like very red hued and heavy, reds and blacks and like grays and whites and stuff like that. Nothing else on the what they showed, and that looks really cool. So I'm excited when that comes out.
Super dope.
So actually, funny that you should say jazz and sex because they brought it up in the chat room between Kevin and Gimmadin. We did get jazz and sex. Yes, that does give you Voyager because Kim would play the clarinet and he'd play jazz in space.
Are these Transformers?
More than meets the eye.
I'm kidding.
They're robots in the corner.
Yes, Amelia.
So since I went scrolling through the Instamawebs so that I could find something, I beat you to it. I want to pull up The Magic Order by Mark Millar and Olivia Coipel, something. Anywho, it's 5 families of magicians that are sworn to protect our world for generations, and yet an enemy is picking them off one by one. So it feels a little like, from the sound of that, a little maybe some Black Monday murders, even though it's not Hickman. Totally saw with that. And then the other one, which I thought you were going to bring up, Burra.
I'm not there yet. I haven't gone.
Pause.
Do you want to go? So I don't bring that up because that one sounds really awesome.
Pause.
Pause.
So the fact is that Todd McFarlane, one of the kings of Image Comics, he announced like 5 different things.
He's over.
One of the sovereigns of one of the realms.
Yeah, the continuing adventures of Spawn. Spawn will be at that point probably one of the longest running independent comic books ever.
Nice.
There is also going to be a new Sam and Twitch. Sam and Twitch being the 2 detectives that investigate a lot of the issues with Spawn in the original comics. Some of those crime noir graphic novels about Sam and Twitch were great, so I'm really excited for that. What was Misery again? Remind me, there's so many different things.
It was with Kathy Bateman.
Very nicely done, actually. It's a kid it's coming out of the hashtag MeToo movement. Kid gets bullied, and he finally decides enough is enough, and he goes around protecting the innocent. So I think it's going to be more of an anti-hero kind of swing at it, which I'm okay with that.
Yeah, Todd's got a lot of stuff coming out of there.
So there's medieval Spawn and
the
crossover. Spawn kills everyone too.
Yeah.
Misery,
Catching Up to Deadpool,
Spawn, the ongoing title, and Sam and Twitch.
So Spawn kills everyone. The first one had probably one of my favorite panels of all times because they couldn't actually get the rights to him fighting Captain America and all these people. So he gets this chibi Spawn gets
Chibi.
Chibi. He goes to a comic book convention where he decides to start killing all these costume people, and one of which is someone is there's a guy cosplaying as Red Skull, and there's a guy cosplaying as Donald Trump, and he cuts off their heads with his cape and switches their heads, and he says, not that different, and then they fall over dead. Ooh, Todd McFarlane, political humor. Yes, Corey, Todd McFarlane is great, and he is terrifying and twisted in so many ways.
Yep.
So, Image Expo was big, but something else
so many things in here.
was bigger. Something else
I'm
was...
a GE.
Image. What could have been bigger?
Okay. Something was a little bit bigger than Image Expo. It was a certain movie.
Just a little bit bigger.
Coming out of Marvel Studios.
Oh, I was going to say American Ninja Warrior. My bad.
Captain Marvel?
What?
Are you paying attention?
What? Is anyone... Am I the only one looking at the show notes?
What's in that mug?
Yeah.
I don't get this!
I don't know.
Could it be...
The chat got angry, too.
The shirt I got lucky wearing? Could it be
you
that?
got lucky?
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
That is Black Panther.
Ah, yes. Ooh. Ooh.
I just need to feel the
This is what happens when I get out of my chair, so I'm glad you're over there, buddy.
Gato, that's a great question. We'll get to it
He
in
has
a little
got
bit.
a land
But
tracks.
Black Panther came out. It was amazing.
End of show.
Yeah, end of show. Good night.
I think your Instagram pretty much summed it up.
My silent...
The one where you tagged friend of the show, Sterling K. Brown.
And he gave me my man with the fist up. Sterling K. Rose for
The
life,
Nation
my
of
friend.
Domination.
Yep, there it is.
Wait. Do my ass deceive me about the chat? We must proceed with caution.
No, spoiler alert. Statute of limitations. Gibbon, leave the chat because we're going to talk about it.
We love you. We appreciate you. But unless she wants to get all spoiled up in her.
Like 6 months. Nope. Sucks to suck.
We can't wait that long.
Spoiler alert. We're going to talk about Black Panther.
Who said no spoilers?
Mufflers.
Give me like 6 months and we can discuss it.
So,
Put
first
your
off,
muffler ears on.
these numbers are as of February 25th, so as of yesterday. Domestic total, 403.6 million.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
It was successful.
I don't want to know.
They're making a lot of money.
I don't want to know
Spoilers. Out of $200 million budget. And then
market. Foreign, 305.3 million.
Right
so we were looking at
$708.9
million.
You should be able to slap someone with that.
After 2 weeks.
Pop on the mic.
So we're breaking records.
So none of the new movies that came out just this past weekend beat it in the top.
Oh, number 2 was Game Night with 16 million.
Yeah. So we are.
They said we ain't playing games here, baby.
No. So we have broken records across the board on. I think the only one
weekend on February.
Yep. Second weekend.
Highest grossing film for any black filmmaker.
Yeah. It's the only. I think the only one it didn't beat as far as the Marvel movies go is Avengers. As far as speed,
is it the highest origin film?
It's all. Yeah, that's a good.
I think it might be Spider-Man still.
Yeah, probably.
Spider-Man still has the highest.
And they say that no.
God, no. So
I just started thinking of Entourage when they were trying to beat the Spider-Man.
Vinny Chase's Aquaman.
So did anyone actually not like Black Panther?
I liked it, but I think there's things to talk about.
Yeah,
of course there are, Tom. You always have.
The filmic.
Bruh, you gotta be able to critically look at things and analyze and talk about. I mean, unless you say it's a perfect movie, then there you go. Then stop watching movies because you saw the perfect one.
True. I don't think it was perfect.
It's the best one, Corey.
It was really well done.
It's the worst Spider-Man.
So Tom, I'm just gonna give the reins over to you. What didn't you? Was there anything? Was there like a big thing that was like a no, or is it just like some points?
So I've talked about this somewhere in some place in the ether.
There's another podcast that they actually did a review of this last week. Cough.
And I felt like the first act and the third act were well balanced, but the second act wasn't. And nothing. And the funny thing is that most action films nowadays, like, the first and second act are the more balanced, and the third act is like a rushed 45-minute like chase scene.
Right.
And those usually suck. Hashtag Darwin Rice.
Was the second act? What? Was the second act?
Hey, we gotta get the guy. We got the guy. We lost the guy.
Korea.
Yeah.
It
was pretty much that was it.
I liked seeing Busan. But
it was cool.
I love Korea.
It was well shot. It did the story part, but I felt like that was so short. And in its credit, I wanted just more of it. I wanted more development. In other points. Spoilers! When Mr. Monger not to be mistaken from Ironmonger or Fishmonger, but other Monger. When he passes on to the Circle of Life,
and we have one body.
Yeah. I felt like there wasn't too much of a connection between him and T'Challa.
Yeah.
Because it was like, hey man, kid from Oakland, you believe that? But I was just like, I wanted more between them, more like relationships, so I could feel like, oh, T'Challa actually cares that his cousin died.
You're fine. We said spoilers already.
Yeah, spoilers. But I mean, I'm just like, I wanted a little bit more like relationship between, like, there wasn't that much play between the two. Like, you know, comparatively to the Dark Knight, you got Joker and Batman having an entire interrogation scene to actually like get to know each other, and so like whenever anything happens, it's more impactful. And I compare those two together, because Killmonger kind of has that like, I'm coming to your city, I'm taking it over, I'm going to create chaos with it, blah blah blah. And he's kind of like this antithesis character of what T'Challa's trying to be. That was my thing, but also I guess I was really kind of off put thinking about it afterwards, like. In Civil War, when he was like blood lusting after Winter Soldier, because he thought, you know, he killed his father, he was like badass. He was like, you know, I'm gonna kill your friend, blah blah. I'm a king now. I'm a warrior now, a king, da da da. And it was just vengeance. And then the post-credit scene where you see him taking Bucky because he knows what happened with Zemo and all that stuff. But then in this one, he's kind of like this, like, I don't know what to do, Dad. And then I was kind of like, I feel like he should. He showed more of like a ruthless iron fist feeling, like a Latvian king of some sorts. But in this in Civil War, but in this one, it's kind of like, oh, well, because you have to follow the hero's journey, right? So you have to follow like, he doesn't know what he's gonna do. You gotta give him some development and stuff like that. So,
which I mean, they do say in the beginning that I believe Black Panther takes place a week after the events.
It's like super short, which I thought was really cool. That was dope.
But you do get at the end of Civil War, like, once he realizes that Bucky isn't the guy, and that it's I can't remember his name. Zemo, is the guy. When Zemo tries to kill himself, it's like, no,
and he stops Zemo from killing him.
Like he, even there, you see that transition that carries him into this movie. I feel like I agree. Like, it's really quick to make that, but they set it up already at the end of Civil War.
I feel like the one like remnant of that was when he was in Busan in the casino, and he was talking to Ross, and he was like, "I'm not here to make a deal." It's like, I will leave with him. You've been warned. And he walks away like, oh, badass, baby, come in with the squad.
And when he was going up against why can't I remember characters' names today? Nope.
Claw,
yeah. And he's like,
Gollum.
Every breath you have is a
the
mercy
Tolkien white boys.
Yeah, one of the Tolkien white boys.
Get it?
That's a Corey thing.
There's two of them in there.
So
Corey.
So like you get two moments, because he's like, every breath you get is a mercy from this,
which is
like,
pulled from a recent comic, Which, it was really dope, and I like that. Again, you get the ferociousness from the character that you think. At least I've been exposed to this type of Black Panther, where it's like, this guy's kind of an asshole just because he's been more of royal blood, but like it's not like he's like Namor asshole. He's just like kind of asshole.
He's mild.
He's mild. He's
mild.
See, I could feel in the. I understand we're following her journey and the vengeance driven, especially in Civil War. But especially in this, when you're moving through all the stages of grief, especially when you're in a position of power, you don't have time to process. So when we get to the plains and he's like, I'm scared to do this without you, Daddy. Like, I understood and I felt it on a personal level. But at the same time, I also love, is it sympathetic or an empathetic villain?
Empathetic is when you care about them. Sympathetic is when you feel what they feel.
Okay, so empathetic.
Other way?
Yeah. So
you're right. You're right.
But I felt for Senor Monger.
Yeah.
I felt for him because essentially you were watching the same thing happen in two different spans. Where you had somebody who had all the time to grow and be trained by their father and still lose him, and the impact was the same. The difference is time. And so when time is such a finite commodity to anyone, it kind of hits you right in the jejundum.
Yeah, I mean, to its credit, I feel like the film really highlights Killmonger more, and you really start caring and or identifying with like the struggles that he's been through, and you see it in Chadwick Boseman's performances that he himself is like, hey, let's find another way to like work this out, and it sucks, and he's trying to because he gets it. He understands like Killmonger in all bits and rights is like he has all the right to be angry. It's like we left him, and I think my favorite part in the movie is when he's the second time T'Challa's in the astral plane. He's talking to his dad. He's like, "You're wrong. You're wrong to lead my boy." I was like, and then the music swells. Like, that's so good.
But that was the thing that he warned him about. That you're a good man with a good heart.
Good king.
And it's hard to be a good king when you're like that. And it just came down to the simple fact of you left your flesh and blood in a fairly hostile
didn't even
city.
give him a proper burial for his
not
brother.
just his brother, but his nephew, and just left him there. And instead of taking him back and having the hard talk and raising him so he would be a prince, he ditched him. And so it is a monster of our own creation.
Zimjoba was a douche.
Yeah.
I love you, Sterling K. Brown.
It's as great as it is when we get the bad guys who are just evil forces with these tendencies that there's no way of saying it's a good thing.
He was ugly, and I brought him up for purpose.
A lot of times it's that bad guy who has a good point, who has a good reasoning for what they're doing. They're just going too far with it.
It's the bad guy that doesn't think they're a bad guy.
Exactly. One example I have, because one of my favorite action movies growing up was the movie The Rock, the Alcatraz movie with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage.
Oh, not
the wrestler.
Not this
Dwayne.
one.
Not Dwayne. Not this time. For one, not not
There's
him.
an eyebrow.
Ed Harris is General Hummel, who takes over Alcatraz and threatens to launch 80 VX rockets on the San Francisco Bay Area. The reason he's doing it is because he's been a part of the military where all these black ops have been done and all these soldiers he lost, and no funds have been paid to the families of those soldiers. So you have this Vietnam veteran in all these wars who has a great point. He's right. We've screwed over these past soldiers. He just is going a little too far, and that character even forgets what he's doing toward the end. Killmonger, what he wants to do to Wakanda, not cool, but what's fueling him is absolutely understandable. Both what happened to him and what he wants to do with the people of their kind all around the world. It's just the way he wants to do it kind of also takes away the greatness of Wakanda. He's forcing Wakanda to do it instead of Wakanda wanting to do it on their own and giving it in a way
instead of being a peacemaker, he wants to create them be like a war machine.
Exactly. Which makes a great villain. You can identify with that villain even though you don't agree with the final tactics the villain has.
If you have like any type of like temperature reading of like the social climate in the world, we have to talk about that specifically. Like there is a lot of like rising tension and all that stuff about like these underdeveloped areas who don't have resources that vibranium can provide. And he says in Thrones like, "Where was y'all at? We could have used vibranium." It's like,
well, and it's like the what is like it's super like the isolationist, like the nation, like it like they could be doing so much good, but he wants to push them even more to the extreme rather than just
Nakia Lupita.
Yeah, Lupita Nyong'o, her character wanted just foreign aid, wanted interactions with other countries, wanted to support people, whereas he's like, no, we need to arm those people so they can rise up. And it's like that extreme of Professor Xavier looking for acceptance for mutants to Magneto who wants domination by mutants because they're the most powerful. Yeah, comic books.
Which I feel like played like, Magneto and Professor X plays the Malcolm X, Martin Luther King between two. But I feel like this one in a more relevant sense.
100%.
Yeah.
Manderson, you've been quiet.
Hey, Manderson.
I should stuff up top. I'm interacting.
What kind of thoughts you have?
I said stuff up top.
What kind of thoughts
What
do I
kind
have?
of thoughts you have?
What kind of comics do you like? Wakanda Podcast is this?
This one a nerd on. Awesome.
What kind of puns you like?
So actually, I hope this doesn't derail too much.
Too late.
But I've been talking to my other friends.
Oh.
Obviously not as close to friends as we are, guys. Sorry.
I remember this conversation.
Other friends.
But a lot of them are like,
shoot.
everybody's like, it was good, but
There's a but.
It was like, I really liked it, but
how big is that but?
But what? And like, it didn't do it for me. Like, I have no idea what you're saying.
It didn't do it for me?
I'm not gonna get any.
Wait.
We're not friends anymore.
This is the first time Manderson's on the show, right?
Good.
No.
Manderson is unfriended said friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're not friends
okay.
anymore.
You're fine.
And then the thought occurred to me that these movies have been presented to us in this quality, a good high quality, that make us excited for comic books and comic book related content for a decade. Yeah. Have like if this movie came out at the same time as Iron Man, if we could compare that, would be like, would one of them we'd say, oh, I'm so much more excited for this one after watching it, or I'm not presenting
No,
this correctly.
you're making a valid argument.
Yeah, would they be the same, or would we put Black Panther or Iron Man above because like, well, yeah, this one's better. Are they the same, and we're just tapering off over time? That's the wrong way.
So, do you want? Okay, so
Good
I
point,
was.
Manderson.
It was a very good point. It didn't derail. It was very good. So what I think
conversation started
in comparing Phase 1 to what is this 3? We're
This is Chapter 6 of Phase 3 apparently.
so we're
I'm
in
not
the
lying.
phase.
I'm not
You're
lying.
pretty much right.
He's right.
Okay, so we're
It's
talking
kinda
we're talking Iron Man. We're talking Phase 1. It's talking almost an OG. But if you said Black Panther, how many people actually know who Black Panther is?
Right.
So they've expanded the universe in the decade that they've been doing this for the cinematic universe, that they can bring in people where people didn't know who Captain Marvel is, and I'm gonna see her, suckers.
They've built the buy-in.
They've built
the massive buy-in of like, if it's a Marvel film, it's gonna be entertaining and fun,
and
and it's family friendly.
Yeah, and you're gonna want to
exactly.
get behind it, and then in the same way, it's helping to reignite some of the, not just some, but the dying comic book industries for Marvel in particular, because they're like, how do we revitalize it? How do we add more like Star Wars? Everybody loves Star Wars. Everybody loves the X. Well, you're not using enough X-Men right now, but they're looking at properties. When we get the first family in there, we'll deal with
Gross.
Hey.
So yes,
I was one of those people who, before this podcast and before watching MCU, did not know who Black Panther was. I knew nothing of the character. Curtis is one who told me the character was, and then watching Civil War made me love the character. I was excited Spider-Man was coming, but seeing him, this guy's awesome. I love this character. Ta-Nehisi Coates' issue that started in 2016. I loved that book.
Yeah.
It made me a Black Panther fan. The character is in my top 5, both for characters and movies.
I feel like the question almost can't be answered because you could. But it's
going to be different.
It's because, like you said, like we created the buy-in, like the quality of the movie is great, and it's basically, I mean, it's
based on the OG.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same story. It's the hero story.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the, you know, he meets the bad guy. The bad guy is the similar power set. He beats said bad guy. Like that's been all the Marvel origin movies. They haven't really changed that formula.
For the most part.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to say this purely for its credit.
Yeah.
All right.
That this film, like, I think one of the biggest criticism that it has is that Killmonger was too good of a villain.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, like, he was quote unquote as good as Heath Ledger's Joker. Like, and then, like, because that was Marvel's big flack too, is like, one, the color grading, two, their sound, but also that their villains aren't as powerful. They're not as strong characters. Right. And Kevin Feige's always said, we make superhero movies, not super villain movies.
Right.
But if we did
with Suicide Ex Machina, but
and it's because it's how are you supposed to, like, does every sequel, like, do they have to be a 3-parter fighting the same villain, or
even the Nolan trilogy didn't do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, those villains were all comparable in some sense, do it a different way. But to answer the original question, if Iron Man and Black Panther were made at the same time and distributed at the same time, same way, I feel like Iron Man would still be the superhero movie, but Black Panther, to me, and I'll say it now, it's a black people movie, and it has more of a social context in that sense, where it has a bigger political conversation. It has film consequence, where it's trying to strike the political, socio-economic post 9/11 world, where Iron Man is kind of more of a symbol of hope, and in the middle of the war, right? Of the war at that time. But like, to me, I think those are when films, I've said this before, when film starts transcending its genre. Right. When it's becoming more than, it's a comic movie. It's a movie about a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Well, the reason Black Panther is such an important movie, not just because if at face value it's a comic book movie, it's a character,
it's action.
Yeah, it's an action movie. He's going to be involved in the Marvel universe going forward. Like, and again, it didn't break that mold of the story of the origin. But it wasn't about that. It was about the fact that only 2 major characters who were really supporting characters, only 2 were white. The rest of the cast was black.
Well, you had that one girl who drank coffee.
It was it was woven into
when she swapped off,
both in front of the camera and behind the camera.
Sac State alumni, stingers up. Ryan Coogler, where are your stingers? There he is, going from Fruitvale Station
alumni
to Creed to Black Panther.
Do you want me to talk a little bit more about Ryan Coogler too?
Yeah, man, you knew him, right?
Yeah, I met him. I met him. It's no shade.
And he's working for Marvel Studios, and Tom
hates it. Think of it like this.
You're also wearing a DC shirt.
Think of it like this. Think of this.
You're wearing my girl.
Think of this one dude that like you heard about that everyone loved, and then all of a sudden you came around that no one loved you, and you're like, but why? I took all the same classes, but why? But anyways, but you also hate. I hate Ryan Coogler because he's so talented. He's really talented, inspired human being, and his quote, he says, "I make black films because of my blackness." That's his literal quote.
Wait. So you don't hate him? You're envious.
It's envious.
I am Agent Orange. I have.
There we go.
All
there
the
we go.
avarice,
You're Larfleas. Larfleas. Because I was gonna say it's like a lot of people completely unrelated, but Stop comparing yourself to him. But a lot of people like I know a bunch of people in Sacramento who apparently knew what's her name? Greta
Gerwig?
Yeah, Greta Gerwig, and they like don't like her because they didn't like her in high school. Well, and, but Lady Bird is like this amazing film.
Nominated. No.
I'm gonna say like talk later.
Okay, Tom. Let me know when you're showing up at Oscars, and then
I'll let you know.
And then, and then I'll be in the audience. Then I'll be clapping, and Greta doesn't got nothing on Tom.
No, and then you know what I'm gonna say?
Neither does Ryan.
I'll cry.
No, they're both good. But then, I'm saying there's room for me.
There's always room. None of this is perfect.
We've added a second row.
Let's also look at the track record.
One more person, right?
The track record Ryan Coogler has going right now.
Yeah.
Fruitvale Station, $900,000 to make.
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Locks, which was a Palme d'Or Cannes Film Festival selection. Yes. It was his first short film.
Yep.
It was no dialogue. And it won a Cannes Film Festival laurel thing, so it was.
That's number one.
Big boners everywhere.
Fruitvale Station.
Film boners.
Costs $900,000 to make. Makes $16 million. Gets everyone talking about what happened in that movie and the situation behind it. He goes and does Creed, the spin-off.
Also with Michael B. Jordan.
The spin-off of one of the greatest franchises in movie history.
The American Dream Story.
The American Dream Story of Rocky Balboa. He does the story of Apollo Creed. Spoiler alert: Apollo Creed's son.
Stop tapping the table by the mic.
I apologize. Costs $43 million. Makes $160 plus. Oscar nominated. Golden Globe nominated.
Can I give it in?
Was it Golden Globe won? Right? No.
Stallone won Golden Globe. You're right. Best supporting actor. Now, Black Panther. He's the first African American director to get a $200 million budget.
It's the most they've ever given any black filmmaker.
He made that in the U.S. in one weekend. In the U.S. alone. He's now at $708 million. Ladies and gentlemen, the next big director of Hollywood, I present to you Ryan Coogler.
But also, for all the other studios.
All the butts, man. There are so many big butts, and you cannot lie.
This is also what happens when the studios don't meddle into the filmmaker's craft.
Right.
Because you can feel that Coogler had control of it.
He wrote and directed.
You mean WB isn't coming in and being like, hey, let's CGI the mustache.
That's what
didn't happen. Let's get the trailer team to work on it.
That's what didn't happen. You have this embodiment, creative control, this embodiment of African culture all over the film. Wakanda, a fictional country, but they made this culture and embodied it with all the other existing real cultures.
Which is, if you get to hear about or read the stuff from the costumer, it's absolutely gorgeous and amazing.
Afrofuturism.
Yeah. It didn't hide anything. It wasn't like they said, just keep the pretty stuff. No, you have stuff that you've never seen before that maybe you read years ago. Like the guy in the plate on his lip.
Yeah.
They didn't hide that stuff. They show that up front because this is what we are. This is our culture. This is what it is.
A big thing that
I have a point.
A big thing that in film school that we learned in school.
Anthropology.
That Mr. Coogler and I learned from the same professors was a thing called mise en scène.
Mise en scène. I knew that too.
And
I knew that too.
This is why we were supposed to sit them next to each other.
In the casino scene where he's wearing black and Nakia's wearing green, and then Okoye
is wearing red.
Is the Pan-African flag colors. So it's like there are things in there that provide richness to the film instead of Easter eggs. I think Easter eggs are richness in Marvel films, but he provides both layers.
Which I love because this is the first, and this isn't a good or a bad thing. This is the first time where we walked out of the theater. And my wife, who loves Marvel movies but doesn't read any of the comics, didn't have to be like, well, who is this person? What did this mean?
It was a good standalone.
Yeah. It was great. Like there were connections. There were connections, but not just like a name drop. Like even the fact that they completely did away with Man-Ape. He was just M'Baku. Like he didn't have that super racist name.
Witness the power of the Jubani tribe. First time.
He was just
not gonna lie.
M'Baku.
He was fantastic
dope.
because when they came through, I was like,
No
he's
harm will
like,
come to
great
your mother.
gorilla. I was like, okay, you mentioned it once. We're solid.
That's it.
Let's go through.
A favorite line of his when he tells Bilbo,
Are you finished?
if you talk again, I will feed you to my children. I'm
Just
kidding. We're vegetarians.
And he like snorts himself.
His also the sets. Holy crud!
Oh my god.
Not just the locations where, of course, Oakland apparently now is Atlanta.
Time out.
Hold
I have a
on.
question.
I might have an answer.
Flag on the plane.
I have 2 points I still need to make, you jerks. Go ahead.
Make your point.
No, go ahead.
Question. So, in the origin, and I know again the film strays a little away from the comic. In the film, is it inferred that the Jabari tribe has vibranium access to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I was like, this all looks really
kind
cool.
of. They're still poorer though.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't have had that massive
throne
being held up by the gorilla.
Yeah.
Like that was all like the Jabari tribe had equal access.
Okay. I was gonna say
also in the comic books, the Jabari are even in especially in Coates' run.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw
They're
that.
the
The
villains.
Jabari are the villains.
Yeah.
Period.
My now I'm
yes,
trying to remember what the 2
Miles.
points.
You're right.
I'm trying to remember what they were. 2 point
2 points.
conversion.
2 points.
2 point conversion.
I guess they weren't important. Anyway, so moving
The-
on.
I believe you. I believe
no,
you.
I
The
totally
Dora-
forgot.
Anthropology. I was
Milaje.
talking about the cultures intertwined.
Oh, so here's
Yeah.
what I want to know: the representative of the river tribe with the lip plate. How does he have the little tattoo on the inside of his lip?
Those are the war dogs.
He has oh dang it! I thought they all had it because I really wanted to. I wanted to know how he got that in there. He had this
Barry
lip
wants the
plate.
deleted scene
Well,
of
they'll-
someone just going.
You could also be like, that's the rank up from the tattoo.
I can't see it.
I cannot. I dig it.
Well, also that they brought up war dogs because
Yeah.
really that there is a difference between the Dora Milaje, or I keep saying
Midnight
Milaje.
Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the
No.
adored ones.
They're not the.
They're not?
No, because
not Midnight
the
Angel.
two
that's-
the two that are
those are
dating
good
with the
ones.
minute. No, that's different.
And the war dogs. That there's two spaces
Yeah.
of service to the country, and you get to see it. And also, somebody had brought up when they started passing out.
This one?
No, I like this.
That's awesome.
When they started passing out the weapons, where they're like, we're going to send them to our war dogs, and it's the war dogs in Hong Kong,
London.
New York, and New York. And my second viewing, somebody leans over and goes, why are they going to attack where Doctor Strange is? And I was like,
I feel like they'd only attack places where the other Avengers are.
Because they don't know.
Something else I enjoyed very much when they do go to Korea.
Busan.
I'm not Korean.
Totally.
End of question. We're good. I thought he
Are we
was.
gonna
My
talk
bad.
I thought you guys did a really good job with the Olympics.
Good job. Way to go. No, that entire scene
How did you find that?
was
I'm not starving.
so great. It felt like a James Bond
Yeah.
spy thriller moment.
Oh, you
He's
mean
in there
in the casino?
undercover, and my lovely Michonne, Danae Guerrera as
Okoye.
She was
Okoye.
She's
Michonne.
gorgeous, and
She's
she
Michonne
was-
on Walking Dead.
She was like, again, supporting cast kills it.
Yeah.
She was so.
But that whole scene, the talking in the earpieces, the looking at this guy right there, that's straight up James Bond, but just it fit
With a spear.
with a spear. But their style to it, the way they did it, the
way
one
she threw the wig. Yes, Corey. Yes.
She is
My
Made for
goddess.
days.
to Black Panther.
Uh-huh.
Grace Jones was to James Bond.
bingo.
Very nicely
That's what they said in the
said.
beginning of the movie. There's some Grace Jones girls wearing spears.
Dang it!
Yeah.
That fight scene.
You're
though.
all prepared for this part of the
I was
I've seen the movie
recovering
maybe too many times.
from vertigo. I've only seen it once.
We already know
So
Danae can like swing the samurai sword in The Walking Dead.
But does that say
But-
Carl?
But huh?
Or-
Spoiler. But just seeing
Her
times 10 in Black Panther, the way she moved, it was outstanding.
battle rhinos.
But then
Wait,
also,
that's,
so
that's
when
Michonne?
That's Michonne.
yeah, no, that's what I didn't.
This
get
is a
shit.
wig.
She looks so much
Battle Rhinos?
smaller
I think it's
in
a movie.
Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
She like her frame looks smaller.
She's also wearing all of that
it's
other
that
stuff.
wig.
I think they
All
also
armor
wanted
stuff.
It's that wig.
like Wonder Woman. They wanted the both of the strong but the femininity with it. So like that's why she's still slender looking, not overly masculine looking.
His
She
protectors,
just,
that
like-
those ladies were.
But have any of you guys seen the Vanity Fair thing with Ryan Coogler? He talks about that dissecting the scene.
Mm-mm.
No.
So right
In
when you
other
see
words,
Danae spinning the spear and all that, they
Mhm.
have the choop 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 like that sound
Mhm.
going on. That is literally like some African like war cries that they would have like during fights.
Nice.
So like that's smart, and it's built into the soundtrack, which is lit.
Yes.
It's lit.
Nathaniel saying the way she threw the wig Where she took the wig off, and also and Lupita smacking that guy with her heel. That was outstanding.
Yeah, it was. Well, also, can we bring up that Lupita not only trained, like everybody else trained, but she also went and learned Korean so she could actually speak those lines. And I'm a hardcore Korean drama person. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so British. And then when she's speaking to the Ajima standing there, and I, shut up, you know I'm right. And I'm just like, she's saying it correctly too, and all of her inferences. I'm like, okay. Also, when she made the whip your hair back and forth joke, I kind of
that was fun.
Why would you do that? It's so undignified.
And the cool thing with that fight sequence, Ryan Coogler explains that Okaya fights, with her spear. Okoye fights with a spear, and she's very, trained. She's very like forceful and direct. And then the way Nakia fights, Nakia fight. God, I can't say any of these right.
It's okay.
She takes off her shoe and she fights in unconventional ways because she's a spy, and so that's specifically she has to learn how to fight with anything that's nearby. And
she brings that up too when she's like, "Come with us," and Okoye is like, "I am loyal to that throne. I can't go." And Nakia's like, "I'm a spy. I'm not a soldier." And so you see that not just in
the two the conflicting ways that they're going to try to serve their country.
Yeah, and then also in the big. Battle rhinos all day.
That sequence. Hungry rhinos?
Vibranium rhino.
Also, can we talk about, I was so excited that none of the rhinos were hurt, because I was like, no, rhinos! And then CGI rhino. I was like, oh, it's okay, little rhino.
That it stops and licks her. I thought that was great.
On top of the way he looked in Creed, Michael B. Jordan, who already went through an intense training regimen for Creed.
Every day, 3 times a day to the gym, and he eats 6 meals a day.
He put on 20 pounds more of muscle for this movie. So he was already ripped in Creed. He was already ripped.
Have you seen how original Killmonger looks like?
I have, yes.
Yeah, he's monstrous.
Oh, yeah. By the way,
blanket shields were legit.
When Wakabi showed up, I did want to start. For those of you that seen
Dark Place,
for those of you that seen Get Out, I was starting to do this. And she's all, Melissa's like, she didn't know what I was doing. She's all, oh, that's him. Yes, that's the guy. That's
Black
the Get
Mirror
Out guy. That's him.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And
season 1.
When you want someone who can cry beautifully on screen, you do hire my boy Sterling K. Brown.
His tears were so gentle.
Those tears. If you watch This Is Us, he makes crying seem so simple.
Well, and Michael B. Jordan had the same, like, the good, like, they were good, just the gentle tears. You're like, shoot. But I think we also need to bring up that Michael B. Jordan is in the worst rated Rotten Tomatoes and the best. So a 9 and a 98.
Like Chris Evans being the same character and then becoming Cap.
2 for 2. Marvel saves 2 Human Torches.
2 Human Torches.
And apparently those torches are getting snuffed out.
Oh snap!
Don't worry, Soulstone, Reality Stone. I can just bring everyone back. Whatever.
Wow, that's a great name.
Solid. Appreciate it. I'm a bigot.
That's respect.
So does anyone? So here's what I want to know. Vince? One, did anyone count the number of burn marks that he had, scars on him that he had on his body for how many people he killed? Also, why does he have some long ones?
Because
harder kills.
They look better.
Well, also the way that.
Why was one of them a tramp stamp?
But also,
it was right there. Did you see it stopped at that line?
He probably got buffer, so it's like,
like it got long. That was like when he took off the armor. When he took off the armor, it was like the way that the scars were like they were. It was like paper thin. The way it like moved on his muscle, it was like almost off-putting to see all of those like move with him. But I mean, he was dope.
So we're also
forgetting one of his best lines, which was both
hilarious
and also messed up.
Curtis's favorite line,
as Angela Bassett is freaking out about what's happening, and just his face. He just sit there looking at it the whole time and goes, "Hey, auntie."
Yeah.
Oh, and the whole crowd, the crowd was like laughing and at the same time. There were 3 moments where people like reacted in my theater. Right when it says Oakland, and everyone's like, "Hey!" Like I think at one point I just saw a guy just go. Like in the theater, like I was just like, all right, this is what's gonna happen. I'm down with this. There it goes.
And there was Ghost riding the whip outside, and then that line, then when he's dying.
Oh, and the one Disney line they put in there.
Oh, when he
throw me in the ocean.
Bury me with my ancestors.
Who knew that death was better than bondage.
Oh, that was a great
in a Disney film.
Yeah, that was a great line. Well done, because it coffin ships when it comes to everyone who's brought over to this country, whether they were black.
Again,
Irish, everyone.
Which, back to the question before between Iron Man and Black Panther, it's like that Iron Man doesn't have those kind of moments and / messages that this film is trying to make.
True.
But in my all honest opinion, Iron Man's a better made film because it's shot with film.
Yeah.
But Black Panther has
it looks so much cooler.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks so much cooler.
The so much beauty.
I'd like to bring up Ramonda looking like Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Angela Bassett.
Right,
All day.
I told my wife that. I'm like, babe, so that was the first choice for Storm before
She's
Halle Berry, and if you look at it right now,
gorgeous.
that is Storm on screen. Because when I
Gorgeous.
saw that, I'm like, she looks like Storm right there.
And then it made so much sense.
And she had more lines than Halle Berry did in all the movies.
Yes,
I know.
she
And
did.
she didn't have to roll
Because
back
Bryan
her
Singer
eyes.
doesn't know how to.
Also, very proud of my wife, who now has embodied what we do when we see those people that are standing up when the credits just start,
Just
and
laugh.
she sat there like. She literally said, "They
Nerds.
must not know it's a Marvel film." She's not just like,
That's my favorite.
So the two, so apparently there are people who weren't exactly impressed by the post-credit scenes. I thought they were crazy good because first off, the one in the UN, again, it wasn't a post-credit scene setting up Infinity War or setting up anything else.
No.
It was just them at the UN giving that crazy good speech, showing all the different people, showing them we need to be together, and that little smirk when they're like, "What are farmers gonna give to us?" And they're like, "Vibranium," and then
he's doing what Killmonger, the idea Killmonger had without the violence and the chaos and the
Nakia and Killmonger, their visions together, their Professor X and Magneto working together to better the connection between Homo Superior and Homo Sapien.
And before we get to that last one, can I bring up Shuri?
Shuri!
Oh,
Sure you can.
Shuri, I can. Okay. Firstly, I am on somebody get that petition if it is on change.org to make her an official Disney princess.
But she already is.
I know.
She is a princess.
But
and it's
I
from
want to
Disney.
see. I want to
For the
see
second
it
one.
in the park. Like I want to see just
You'll
like.
see it.
I
You'll
know.
see it.
I mean, I'm going to Disneyland later.
If they're gonna make a Leia thing and her be Mary Poppins and flying through the sky and all that,
Well, they also have right now. They have the Adora Milaja at Disneyland when you go
Already?
visit Black Panther. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, and there's people that have actually been in line that are painting people's faces for free just because they're there to see Black Panther.
That's so cool.
So, Shuri was fantastic.
Yeah.
Besides her bringing the entire with the ritual killing sequence where she's like, "Can we hurry this
Yes.
up?" I was like,
it's very tight.
and she was so. And then the
another white man for us to repair.
another white boy.
Don't scare me, colonize him.
Yeah.
Another broken white boy.
Another broken white boy.
And she's the Donatello on that team.
Recording as she's recording. Why are you recording this? No reason.
For science.
For science. Keep going. She's the and do you know what I call them? Sneakers.
Sneakers.
How about
What are those?
I don't
Shuri.
like that.
That was so forced.
I know.
It was Vinnie Jones. I'm the Juggernaut bit all over again. I'm like,
Yeah.
stop.
It was.
I'm quietly shouting out to the second post-credit scene.
Before we get there, though, so there was there's a fan theory or a bunch of people going around saying that Shuri, if she meets Tony Stark, he would nickname her Riri.
Oh!
No, it's not good.
No, because
But let me say the point. And a very talented
Your
author
hands are clean.
on Twitter happened to say, imagine this. There's more than one black girl in the Marvel
Good
universe.
point.
Yes.
We don't need to be like, hey, we have a black girl.
Good point.
Let's make her
All
all
of
the
it.
black
Good
girls.
point. Good
She
point.
becomes the Black Panther, y'all.
That's
Get
right.
some your
She
good
does.
noses in
She
some
does.
books.
Read some comics. He passes on the mantle. The other post-credit scene, which I was all about, was the White Wolf.
It used to be metal. It's weird.
The plastic vodka.
The
The plastic. Yes.
the White
you
Wolf,
some plastic
aka
vodka.
Bucky, who seems to be
Bucky.
cured
healed.
from all
Better.
this.
He's
Seems to
Bucky.
be okay.
And in need of a vibranium arm.
Yeah, get
That
this
was actually a
man
very
on.
good impression.
So
who blew off my...
I'm
Oh,
really
that's right.
excited because I love
And
Bucky.
he just can't hide it.
So I think that's going to be fantastic.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that.
Awesome for everyone to see. I'm just gonna shut down the stream, delete that, delete the video.
It hurts the
Stealthy
bicep.
Barnes.
Doing the footage.
Barnes.
Doing the Bucky hurts the bicep.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Do the Bucky. So yeah, I
It's even better
think
second time on the lag.
I think we're good on Black Panther. I think it's successful. I think we're gonna get a
I think
sequel.
it's doing
Go
great.
watch it.
I think it's doing great.
If
If you haven't watched it already,
Go
watch
watch
it.
it.
If you've already watched it, watch it again.
It's super
It is worth it on so many levels.
I believe Curtis, Mr. Extendorman, has seen it 3 times.
He saw it 3 times in the first 24 hours.
24 hours.
He's literally like, come with me
If you want to live.
If you want to live.
I believe he's now living his life as if he is in Wakanda right
Keep
now.
the
He's
Spanish
walking around.
He's Wakanda forever.
He's one of our many friends who suddenly have dashikis.
Makes sense though.
Yeah. And lip plates and they took a fictional culture and just wove it in the way they weave in vibranium into their clothing.
So
it was just so beautifully done.
River tribes
and the
border tribe with the blankets,
the
and
racists.
the shields.
I still want to know about Claw's mixtape.
Dude.
Apparently it's a thing.
Apparently they were thinking about releasing one,
Yeah.
but I was like, God.
Watch it comes out for Black Panther 2.
Yeah,
Also,
and we also can't let it slide.
Like Star-Lord gets it.
That
that would make a lot of sense.
Andy Serkis was
having the time of his life.
He's one of those people that like, this is like the one role where I don't see Andy Serkis. Like every other role, I mean, unless he's doing like a voice, maybe. Yeah. Like I know it's him, and like I know he was the ape. I know he was Smeagol. I know he was Snoke. But in this one, like I kept looking, I'm like, is that actually Andy Serkis? I don't know if that's actually Andy Serkis.
Go watch 13 Going on 30 and tell me it's not him too.
Yeah. There's a deep cut.
I've been following him for days.
But Andy Serkis knocked out of the park is.
Also, Martin Freeman didn't swear, so I'm wondering what I get for bloopers because you've seen what he does.
I really hope he's just flipping everyone off.
All he does is
flipping off the camera and.
He's like, they're like, stop it! It's bloopers. We need this for children.
This is quite the 3rd time I've heard the sound effect used for a weapon that sounds like it belongs to Stark. Yeah. But isn't.
Yeah.
His hand makes the like Iron Man sound, but they never say it's something coming from Stark Industries. Same thing in First Avenger. The bad guys working for Red Skull, their weapons make that sound, but it's never attributed that the Starks got
you don't know if it's technically the Stark weapon because they
or is it just MC? Is that just MCU's?
Because I was thinking it was Hammer Tech.
Hammer Tech.
Because they said it was a mining camp. It was a mining tool that had been.
Anthony.
And Hammer Tech is in Luke Cage. So I mean,
that's true.
I would like to see more. Actually, I would like to see more Hammer Tech. I would like to see more Hydra.
I want the Hammer to come back.
I want.
You want more Hammer Tech?
I want Infinity War. I want Infinity War to do what like Dark Knight did and basically bring back a bunch of villains because there's so much chaos. Something like Hammer's able to break out or someone's able to come out. Like I mean,
I had a request
anyone who's not dead.
I had a request from someone very small for some Galactus. Just for giggles.
I don't know if you noticed, but I don't speak Russian.
Yeah. So get him. I mean, he's dead.
So on that note,
but we can get
in an American accent.
I won't get Justin Hammer out there. Like get him back. Get
bring in my first family.
Right. Bring where is Red Skull?
Where is Red Skull?
He's working in Battle World in that other section.
Because he was teleported. He was teleported by the cube. He was not destroyed by it. So I think he's still out there.
Floating in space.
He's in the same place Beetlejuice ends up in the end. He's waiting in the waiting room. He's like, oh boy.
On that note, that is about going to wrap it up for this week's episode of The Cableless Crusaders. As always, we'd like to thank those in the chat room if you were here live. Yay!
Thanks, you guys.
Those, if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, hey! If you're just listening to this, hello.
Hey.
Sweet K.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, Computer Booter,
Yay.
local repair, mobile device, retro game lounge, Friday night smash, wink wink.
Because apparently all y'all smashing.
Empire's Comics Vault, our home away from home. Go check out Ben, see the pugs, buy some comic books.
All 3. Comic.
Wednesday is new comic book day, y'all.
Wednesday is, and I will be posting our picks for the week on Wednesday.
Nice.
Thank you to Tom for being up here and hanging out on us. Thanks for Manderson for trekking down from the mountains.
We're like to have you, Cheeseburger.
You can check out anything related to the Cableless Crusaders at thecabelesscrusaders.com, where we have links to all of our social media. You can follow us. You can contact us. Hey, if you are one of the people in the chat room and you wanted to know where to start on comic books, reach out to us. Reach out to us on social media. We will
slide in the DMs.
We will get you there. Thank you, Ken. We love you. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you, Corey.
We have to go around and say
Wakanda forever.
My name is David Barry at Dr. Barry on varying social media platforms. Hey, let's go this way. To my left,
Hi.
I have
Amy. You can find me at iJaneURobot on varying social media. I'm going to throw it back this way over my shoulder to my cheeseburger friend.
Manderson, this Manderson on the Twitter.
The Twitters.
Only on the
tweets.
And I'm gonna flip over my head.
I didn't catch it.
He doesn't catch it.
It just went.
Aww.
This is Tom at Tall Dark Not Ugly on everything on all the social medias, even on that new one that people are talking about.
Vero.
You could.
Yeah.
You mean-
Really?
Nerd On, the podcast.
Yeah. If you need more Tom in your life because you just can't handle when he's only our face Tom.
Yeah, we got
Check out-
stickers. We got
Those enamel pins, bro.
We got things.
Nerd On, the podcast.
Speaking of those things, be sure to keep an eye out for our Patreon. It's eventually going to be coming out.
Because if you like to see someone washing his hair, maybe we'll do a video of that. But lastly, over the corner, who has my seat this week?
We are vegetarians. This is the Azorian one, Anthony Steves.
God, you guys are
Wakanda forever.
weird. Anyway, thanks for hanging out.
Taking out.
Hey.
Thanks for hanging out. We are
Long luscious
the Capeless
hair.
Crusaders.
You're
Good night.
welcome.
Not.
And good morning.
Good night.